We're going to jump into our back-to-back winning season segment. Last week, somebody was a little bit salty. His name was Reggie Bush.
Reggie Kardashian?
Yeah, Reggie Kardashian Bush. Married lookalike Kardashian Bush.
Oh, man.
So, basically, him and Colin Cowherd, as known in these parts. Okay. The evil minds came together.
Okay.
Well, I was about to say, what a hell of a combination.
Hating combo.
Yeah.
So they came together and basically bashed Cam Newton. Basically, he said that Cam is not like MJ, not a great guy because he didn't play on a bum shoulder. He would have played. MJ would have played with the flu. I'm like, okay, flu shoulder. So what do you guys think about that whole like hate segment that Calvin throws once a week about Cam?
Okay, here's my deal. Football wise, I was always a Reggie Bush fan. I was his days at USC, even when he was at the Saints. I love Reggie Bush as a football player. I don't think his NFL career ever got anywhere close to expectations.
Kardashian curse.
And I've always felt sorry for him because of that. And when he left the NFL, he's tried to become some sort of an activist. And I don't know if you guys have seen him on his Twitter account and whatnot, but he said a few things that's got them in the hot water quite a few times. And I look at the Cam Newton comments, and I'm wondering if this is just Reggie Bush constantly trying to stay relevant. And I don't know if you guys heard it, but Josh Purcell responded, from WFNZ. Mm-hmm. He responded, and if you guys haven't heard, I listened to it again this morning, and I completely, wholeheartedly agree with everything Josh had to say.
This is like one of the first times I ever agree with Josh.
Yeah,
Josh,
it doesn't happen too much.
It doesn't happen too much.
But I agree wholeheartedly. But now, here's the deal. The interview that he did with Colin, if you go Google it right now, it's been taken off the internet.
Wow.
It's been
I was looking for it again this morning.
Because I was preparing for this pod to talk about it, and you get that copyright message that it's been taken off.
Wow.
So I wasn't able to hear everything, but I was able to hear enough. The thing that really pissed me off the most about that segment was that he said that Cam Newton is focused on too many things other than football.
Coming from a guy who dated a Kardashian, Cam is the one focused on
too many things.
Too many others.
So I'm gonna I'm running been on the tangent right now. So Jamal, my apologies for taking so long.
Please go
but
on,
let me run off a few things right quick, okay? So this is Reggie Bush's career by the numbers, right?
I got it right here too.
Reggie Bush played 10 years of football. All right. Now, if we're speaking regular season only, that's a possible 160 games, right? Mm-hmm. Out of those 160 games, he played in 134 of those games. Mm-hmm. Of those 134 games that he played in, he started in 96 of those games. So out of 160 possible games, he started in 38 games less than that, if I did my numbers right. Cam Newton has played in 123 out of a possible 128 games in his 8-year career. Of those 123 games that he's played in, he has started in 122 of those games. So somehow, some way, Cam Newton is not focused on football enough, but he has played in all but 5 games that he's possibly been able to play in.
Through a bum shoulder last year.
Through a bum shoulder. Through the car accident. He was in a truck that flipped over multiple times and was back 2 weeks later.
And through just some general pain. And
he fractured back. Fractured vertebrae.
And he won a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
Now,
in the division.
Now, I want to throw something else out about Mr. Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush has a very dubious stat that I do not think will ever be touched again in the history of the NFL.
What is that, Vince?
Reggie Bush is the first player since the NFL merger, which is 1970. And for those of you listening, 1970 is not 30 years ago. It's almost 50 years ago. Wow. Okay? He's the first player to have a minimum of 10 rushes throughout an entire season and finish the year in the negative of rushing yards.
Wow.
An entire season. Wow. Okay? So, now, He played 13 games his last year. 0 starts. He had 12 rushes, -3 yards, and 1 touchdown. Okay. Now, after the season, they asked him, "How do you feel about it?" And he said, "You know what? It really sucks, but I just wasn't given the opportunities this year. And if I was given the opportunities, I think I could have done better," which is fair because you were in Buffalo.
Right.
However, in that season, Buffalo led the league in rushing yards, they led the league in rushing touchdowns, and they led the league in rushing yards per attempt. And do you know what Reggie Bush did after that dubious season with the Buffalo Bills?
What did he do, Vince?
He retired. You got it, Jamal.
How do I follow that up, man? Here's what I'll say to that. So there's a personality that's currently on ESPN that talks a lot about other NBA players that were way better than him, and every time I look at it, I'm just like, you just kind of like my face kind of balls up like, well,
I think it's a requirement to have that on ESPN. So please let us know which former player you're talking
Bobcat,
about.
right?
Former Bobcat.
Okay.
Former Bobcat.
Okay.
Former end of the bench Bobcat. Ryan Hollins has a lot to say about a lot of NBA players who were a lot better than him.
The guy who said that Rondo's better than CP3.
Yeah, that guy. And so to compare this with Reggie Bush talking about former MVP winner, former Super Bowl contender Cam Newton, it's very puzzling, but I'm going to tell you why it's not that puzzling. Because it's safe to say that Carolina sports fans have a hate-hate relationship with Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
There's a segment of this fan base that kind of may like Colin Cowherd. And we know what the reason is.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd, for some reason, I think he wakes up every morning and there's a Cam Newton poster posted above his mirror. And he just says, man, what can I say to just hate on Cam Newton today? And I believe this interview was very calculated. I think it was a combination of Reggie Bush wanting to stay relevant. Colin Cowherd probably has some type of relationship with Reggie Bush. Hey, Reggie Bush, what you doing these days? Well, I'm just kind of driving Uber part-time. Hey, want to come on the show? Cool. All right. What can we talk about? Cam Newton seems to be a lightning rod topic. Let's do it. Colin Cowherd's probably like, perfect. It's the perfect combination. It's like, I'm pretty sure they were probably holding hands while they were saying all this because it's like, I don't understand how somebody like Reggie Bush can say Cam Newton is not focused on football. We just watched an Amazon primetime special where the owner himself said Cam Newton's playing through this injury and there's obviously something wrong with Cam Newton's health. We saw it for ourselves. It's on film, guys. This is not our opinion. You get what I'm saying? So the audacity of this dude to question Cam Newton's heart, effort, whatever you want to call it, is beyond puzzling to me, man.
And to caveat out for that, this just came to mind. Le'Veon Bell actually went on either Snapchat or IG. I can't keep up with these apps these days because he's been getting criticized for doing things outside of football as well. And he basically
He's
said,
doing a lot.
He basically said, so what, do you guys think that we just wake up and eat, sleep, and take a dump football all day, every day?
Which is fair.
We have lives. Like for instance, like what do you do for work, Rodney?
I work at a bank.
You're not, but you're not doing anything bank related now. You're not doing anything bank related now. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do as it relates to your professional craft, I don't really care what you're doing outside of that. As long as it's legal and moral and all that good stuff.
Gotcha.
So I don't. And what's worse about this situation is Reggie Bush is a former player.
Right.
Yeah.
So for a former player to come out and say the things that he say, like that's the most baffling part.
Doing things for clout.
But when he specifically questions, because he questioned whether he thought Cam Newton was hurt or not. Let's not forget that. You get what I'm saying? To me, it's just like, dude, he was obviously hurt. What are you talking about? I don't know if I questioned his heart or whatever he said, comparing his situation to MJ's flu game. again, man, we saw it on tape. The film is there, y'all. It's
MJ had food poisoning.
Yeah, and it wasn't. He didn't even have the flu. But
whatever it was, it's a dumb
yeah.
comparison. Let's not get away from the topic too much.
And my bad for cutting you off, Jamal. But getting back to the Cam Newton injury, a lot of people didn't see Cam Newton being injured or notice it until that 6-2 mark.
Right.
But he was obviously injured way before that, and I think he was injured as early as I think it was the Philly game. As early as the Philly game, 21 points in one quarter. But we'll talk about that later. But he was hurt a lot sooner than what he started getting the national attention for. So for anybody to say that the only time you can definitively say Cam Newton did not give 100% was
when he didn't dive on the fumble.
And that is it.
All right, so before we move on, I'm going to throw some stats out there. One player has the most touchdowns since 2011, and that's Cam Newton. So Reggie Bush, for his career, 36 touchdowns, 5,444 yards. Cam Newton thus far, 58 rushing touchdowns, 4,808 yards. Think about that. That's
maybe Reggie maybe Reggie should have focused on more stuff during his career.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right.